That's way too much fun. This is Tuesday, November 6th, advanced class. We're going to get into our battle haiku. We're going to have homework that was due today. And then we're going to end up talking about a poem about lions and tigers and people getting eaten. Oh my. See, Camp Tecumseh. I'm going to do that. All right. With your bell work, that you can see in the background, for those of you watching the home version of this, what you're going to do is you're going to come up with 3 haiku, and your haiku you're going to write, you get to attack somebody with them. That's a battle haiku, like battle rap, but with less rapping and more haikuing. The only people you can attack would be famous people, or you're more than welcome to attack your own siblings, as long as they don't go to our school, or you can attack me, and that's fine with me. Or for that one special child, a random doll in my room that apparently bothers her. But for the rest of you, you're going to write your haiku doing those kind of attacking things. If you're watching at home, if you would like inspiration, you keep listening to this and we're going to give you some examples. Or you can fast forward until that screen disappears and we'll go to the next part. But for now, you can pause it or listen to us, whatever works best for you. As you guys read them, I'm going to count your syllables as you go through. So do a line, pause, and so forth. All right, Ka, you seem really excited to try and bond with me about attacking things. Let's find out what you have. Yes, correct. Only one, and you're going to have to rise when you go. Don't angrily throw your pencil onto the ground. It's okay. All right. Up you go, Ka. All right. There you go. There you go. It's like being closer to the ground. All right. And we have your first line.
You are annoying.
You are annoying. Okay.
Leaving turf turds on my bed. It's a marching band thing.
I got you. I didn't hear what you said. Leaving.
Turf turds on a bed.
Got it. Leaving turf turds on the bed. Okay.
Spoiling my books.
Spoiling my books. Spoiling's only 2. Arguing with me doesn't change it. I mean, you could make it 5 if you wanted to. Spoiling. But nice. Would this be your sister? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spoiling. Ooh, wait, no. You. Oh, wait, no. You spoil my books. There you go. You spoil. Nice teamwork. Good job. All right, and then from there, Doyle.
Yay! Okay, so, Fiona is weird.
Fiona is weird.
She attacks me and my friends.
She attacks me and my friends.
She is a creepster.
She is a creepster. Nice one. Also a sister.
Yes, I have 2 sisters.
I was guessing that we're focusing on that quite a bit. All right, Nate.
Lorax is lore hack.
Whoa, slow down, Tiger. Lorax is lore hacks. Okay.
Yep. Dr. Seuss's work is gone.
Dr. Seuss's work is gone.
Ruined by the films.
Ruined by the films. That works. Nicely done. That's sort of an interesting attack to go down. But all right. Reynolds.
I've never seen him there.
You are a torture king.
You are a torture.
Oh, sorry, I meant your.
You're a torture king. That makes more sense.
Leaving us in long, sad tears.
Leaving us in long, sad tears.
But you're my teacher.
But you're my teacher. Hey, that works. Nicely done. Go you. Awful.
Okay, so ready? Wait.
Are you?
That's okay. Okay. Extremely evil.
Extremely evil.
Attacks me all the time.
Attacks me all the time.
Oh, wait. All of the time. All of the time.
Teamwork. Attacks me all of the time. Wait, does that count as an attack on you?
What? Yes.
Does it seem if that counted as an attack?
Evil, mean teacher.
Evil, mean teacher. I said you couldn't write about Mrs. Melly. All right.
It's on video.
T-pose.
Sharp.
What? Should I tell you mine now?
No, we'll figure it out.
But, it's really mean. Not mean, but, I strongly despise this person.
It's okay.
Okay.
Is this the one I don't know?
I don't want to.
So being mean brings you happiness, I see.
Wait, can I go after someone? I gotta.
Fine.
Okay.
Kemp.
Okay. Kayla's making me do this one.
I didn't say anything.
You be brave.
Whatever.
Woman up.
Singing singing is awful, and you're such
Whoa, 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 whoa. One line at a time.
Wait, what did I tell you to read?
The last one.
Oh, I said the doll.
The what? The doll one? You said the last. Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Try again.
You're a creepy doll.
You're creepy.
You're a creepy
You didn't say the. You're
I
a
said it.
creepy doll. Make people all awful on you. Keep going.
staring at me all the time.
Staring at me all the
It's
time.
actually me.
Focus.
You won't move. Stop it.
You won't move. Stop it. Nice. That'll work.
You
Cuss.
said the last one. I wanted to read the doll one.
Tons of ties, which one?
Tons of ties. Which one? Okay.
Why are you all black?
Why are you all out of whack? Okay.
Hairline so far back.
Hairline so far back. Nice. Wait.
I raised him well.
Were you trying to rhyme that? Haiku are not supposed to rhyme, but it's not the end of the world. All right. Now you're ready?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Okay. You can't sing or dance.
You can't sing or dance.
Squeaky voice and glitter clothes.
Squeaky voice and glitter clothes.
Bows cover your face.
Bows cover your face. Nicely done.
Is it JoJo Siwa?
Yes, I hate her. Me too. Oh my gosh.
I guessed it because the bow.
Me too. I share your hate.
Now, the only, unless you're still finishing out your battle haiku, clear everything else off except for yellow sheet.
Why was I gonna do her?
I'll read you mine.
What?
Why did I do her?
But not right now, because we're busy clearing it off, because we have learning to do.
Oh.
You have to go do haiku on your own.
It was just like I
Mine two were good. The first one was black hairline.
All right. We're going to take a look at a poem on there called The Glove and the Lines. If you'd rather just look up here, that's fine. It's 4 stanzas, but I'm just going to give you one stanza at a time as we go through. We're going to have to figure out what's going on, breaking down characters, stuff like that, all of those learning things we get to do in poems. I feel the same way. So with this one, The Glove and the Lines, we'll have you guys get a chance to read it first, and then I'll read it, then we're going to figure out the characters that are in there and stuff like that. Sharp, would you like to read it?
Yes, please.
Sure, Sharp.
Okay, thank you. I got it. Okay. Do I start from the beginning?
Well, that's where you usually have to
Okay.
start from, yes.
King Francis was a hardy king and loved a royal, I can't say that word, royal sport. And one day, as his lions fought, he sat looking on the court. The nobles filled the benches with the ladies in their pride, and amongst them sat the Count de Lorge, with one for whom he sighed. And truly 'twas a gallant thing to see that crowning show, valor and love, a king above, and the royal beast below.
Nice done. So King Francis was a hardy king and loved a royal sport, and one day as his lions fought, sat looking on the court. The nobles filled the benches with the ladies in their pride, and mongst them sat the Count de Lorge with one for whom he sighed. And truly 'twas a gallant thing to see that crowning show, valor and love, and a king above, and the royal beasts below. Baby steps. Let's go with, where's our poem taking place?
A kingdom.
A long time.
We have a kingdom. That's not a where. Don't make me hurt you. So, in a kingdom, and then where else is the where? Emerson?
Probably like an arena,
Why do you say arena?
because like the lions are like fighting, and you wouldn't like what's like be standing near the lions when they're fighting. So like it's probably like
And it says court.
what is it?
Yeah.
Nicely done. So we have our little palace stadium type thing, something like that. Most likely, using how the poem is written, when would it be taking place?
A long time ago.
Had to wait for the right question. That's where the long time ago comes in. And then we have a number of characters we introduce in the poem. Who's our first character that introduces?
King Francis.
Nicely done. Is going to introduce King Francis, who's essentially the king who runs all of this. And then it introduces another main character.
Count de Lorge.
Nicely done. And Count de Lorge is going to play a major role as we get into the whole thing. So it's going to talk about him. And then we're going to get into one other main character is going to talk about...
Royal Beast.
No, but it could, yes.
Nobles and...
No. And here's where it's a bit more low-key and subtle where it introduces this other one. Because it's going to talk about... where is it says? With one for whom he sighed. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to do this thing here. Yeah. Welcome back. I know. Don't you hate reading? It's the worst thing ever. And so when it says that there's one for whom he sighed, what is that saying about this other person? Emerton?
It's like his girlfriend or
Nicely done. Or at least someone that he's winky towards. And so the one that whom he sighed means every time he looks at her, he goes all... and then she probably looking back like, and so they have like that little thing going back and forth. We're going to find out as it goes into it that we're not full on like BFGF thing yet. It's just the fact that we're giving winky face to each other. We're from a distance. The whole awkward wink. She's like, ooh, awkward wink. Like, and so they have that thing going back and forth. Let's see. So we have. Oh, this word, amongst.
Amongst.
Why is there no A there?
Because it was
a long time ago.
Not because it was a long time ago. In haiku, we learned about this whole syllable thing. And so these lines have a certain number of syllables in each one. And so by taking out that A, it ends up cutting down to one syllable. And so that's the whole, it becomes this what's called a beat, not the whole thing. And amongst them sat the Count de Lords with one for whom he sought. And so there's a whole reason why I have to go through the whole thing. And so we get the same thing down here with twas, because that should be
It was.
nicely done, but that's two syllables, whereas twas is one syllable. And so multiple times in the poem, they're going to just sort of either cut off letters or glue them together because it changes the syllable count. Can we do that in our haiku? Yes. That's like high level haiku stuff, like haiku fu. When you get up to that level where you can like cut words and paste them together and stuff like that, it's total cray-cray. DeLong.
So you said all the lines on the, they wanted to have the same syllable count?
Not the same syllable count. They have a certain syllable count that has to match like the next stanza from there. You are confused because they're not the same syllable count the whole way through.
Yeah, the last
Good
one.
mask, yeah. No, there's a certain syllable count they have to hit, not the same syllable count. Weber.
Can we call you Mr. Back then?
If that works for you because you're trying to cut down on my syllable count. I know there's so many syllables in my name. Let's see, so we had that. Then we covered the one for whom he sighed. And then, ooh, do you guys know what gallant means?
It's like kind of brave.
Also. Bravish.
Gold.
No.
Amazing.
I like that.
G.
It does start with, there are many things that start with G like goober. But that does not necessarily mean it's the same thing. Gallant is not just brave, it's more, ooh, do you guys know what chivalry is? That one we know? Alright. So what's chivalry?
My hand's raised.
It's when a man.
Sharp.
It's kind of like this thing they did back then with like the knights and stuff. They would kind of like help the ladies and stuff. And we talked about it a lot last year. And like being polite and stuff. But how people are like chivalry's dead and stuff.
And so you can still have chivalry today. It's just the whole, like, whenever we leave to go to the library, who do I let go first?
The ladies.
And so that's the idea of chivalry, where you're the whole... Gallant is the same thing, where it's more of that with sometimes a little bravery mixed in, where you're trying to protect the women and things like that. Mr. Broviak, that's not very politically correct. Well, agreed, but the whole is supposed to be a politeness, chivalrous thing, where gallant is where you're trying to go out and do brave things to impress the lady folks and stuff like that. So that's the gallant thing here, because, ooh, they're all hanging out in the stadium, and what are they watching happen in the stadium? This was like 3 or 4 years before YouTube really hit big, and so because of that, there was nothing for people to do on the weekends when they got bored, so they would just take random animals and go, get them! And they'd throw them into the pit and then watch the random animals attack each other. Mr. Broviak, that's not politically correct either. Agreed, but they all existed around the same time. If they got really bored, sometimes they'd throw people in there, but you throw like animals together, you watch them fight, and that was what they did for entertainment.
Is this why you're not a social studies teacher?
This is why I yell at kids just randomly yell at me with raising their hand. No, I just creatively interpret the past. If I were a social studies teacher, it'd be the bomb.
It would be the best.
Right?
We wouldn't learn anything.
Ooh. This line, where it says, the nobles fill the benches with the ladies in their pride. There are 2 meanings to that one. It has a double meaning to it. Because what we have in the poem is a whole bunch of these fancy rich dudes and a whole bunch of these fancy rich ladies all hanging out, which gives 2 meanings to that. Ka.
Does it mean like walking like a stripe?
I like how you talked yourself out of it as you went through the whole thing. That was fun to watch. Owen?
Is it like a group of lions?
It is a group of lions. That is one of them. And then the other one?
A group. Like, crowd.
Nicely done. 2 parts of it. One, in their pride, because if you have a whole bunch of rich dudes and a whole bunch of single ladies, the single ladies are going to be trying to impress the rich dudes. Hence, in their pride. And so they're trying to be all that and a bag of chips. The problem is, if you have a bunch of single girls all together, see, I stopped saying single ladies to help you out, a bunch of single lady folk all together, and a bunch of single rich dudes, how are those single girls going to treat each other?
Not good, because they all want the guy.
Exactly. So that's where it says the idea of in their pride, because what do you call a group of female lions?
Pride.
And the idea of all these like attacking each other. And so you have all these women who are like, oh, look at all them rich men up there. Gonna get me one of them. And so they're all looking at each other. They're like, but if I get one, then you don't get one. And so they get like all, and they start attacking each other. And that becomes one of our themes of the poem. Is sometimes ladies make poor choices with the whole trying to impress menfolk and stuff like that. Let's see.
It sounds like a bunch of seventh graders.
All right, stanza 2. This whole stanza is to get across one idea, and that is it. But that's an idea for tomorrow. And then tomorrow, we're also going to find out why I have this dirty glove, because it plays a big role in our poem.
Oh, I know.
But that's for the theme for tomorrow. Stop trying to learn. This is school. All right. Tomorrow, we're going to get to the end of the poem. We said you could touch on the very beginning of it. And then Friday, we do have... I have uploaded your homework on the off chance you're really bored and want to get started on it. I have uploaded the homework that's not due till next week, but it's connected to Friday's quiz. There's poems on the 2 poems that you have to read on your own if you really hate life. All right, take off.
Me every